you are closer to quitting than you are willing to admit. The decision is already forming in your mind. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is calm, almost peaceful. You have rehearsed it silently. You have imagined what it would feel like to finally stop trying, to finally release the pressure, to finally say, I'm done. Right now, quitting feels mature. It feels like self-respect. It feels like you are protecting yourself from further disappointment. You have carried the weight long enough. You have endured the silence long enough. You have shown up when your energy was low. And somewhere along the way, hope stopped feeling energizing and started feeling exhausting. You are not watching this by accident. You are standing at a threshold. The message half written, the conversation half decided, the door almost closed. And the most dangerous part is that quitting does not feel emotional anymore. It feels logical. You tell yourself that you tried, that you stayed longer than most would, that maybe this was only meant for a season. You call it growth. You call it clarity. But beneath those words, there is something deeper. There is fatigue. There is discouragement. There is a quiet ache that has not been acknowledged. Listen carefully. There is a difference between being done and being depleted. Depletion whispers, end it now. Clarity says, wait. Depletion wants relief. Clarity wants truth. And when you are emotionally exhausted, relief sounds like truth. That is why this moment matters, because decisions made in exhaustion feel wise in the present, but heavy in the future. You think you are closing a chapter, but you might be reacting to pressure instead of responding to purpose. If you were fully rested, fully encouraged, fully reminded of who you are, would you still want to quit? Or is this decision being formed inside mental fatigue? Pause before you answer. You are not weak for feeling this way. Even the strongest people reach limits. But limits are not instructions to abandon everything. Sometimes they are invitations to reset. Right now, you are about to define something bigger than a situation. You are about to define how you respond under pressure. Before you quit, there is something you must understand about why quitting feels so reasonable and why that feeling can be misleading. Quitting feels intelligent because your mind is trying to protect you. When discouragement repeats itself long enough, something shifts inside. You stop chasing outcomes and start calculating damage. You begin measuring how much more you can endure. You review the effort you invested, the prayers you whispered, the energy you spent, and you ask yourself a quiet question. How much longer can I carry this? That question is not weakness. It is fatigue speaking. When the heart absorbs repeated disappointment, it does not immediately explode. It adapts. It lowers expectation. It reduces risk. It prepares an exit strategy. And that strategy feels responsible. It feels calm. It feels mature. You convince yourself that walking away is wisdom, that letting go is growth, that maybe you misread the signs from the beginning. You frame quitting as clarity because clarity sounds strong, but there is something deeper happening. Your nervous system is overwhelmed. Stress narrows your perception. When you are under pressure for too long, your brain shifts into preservation mode. It is not asking how to win anymore. It is asking how to survive. And survival mode does not think long term. It thinks immediate relief. Relief is powerful. It promises silence. It promises the end of tension. It promises peace. But relief is not always resolution. You are not tired of meaning. You are tired of strain. That distinction is critical. Ask yourself honestly, if the results were delayed, but certain, would you still want to quit? If the path was heavy but guaranteed to lead somewhere significant, would you still walk away? Or is it the uncertainty that exhausts you more than the effort? Quitting feels intelligent because it ends uncertainty. It gives you control. It closes the loop. But sometimes closing the loop too soon interrupts growth that was still forming beneath the surface. You are not foolish for feeling this tension. You are human. But before you act on what feels logical, you must examine what quitting too early might quietly cost you. There is a hidden difference between escape and peace. On the surface, they can look identical. Both involve stepping away. Both remove pressure. Both silence the immediate discomfort. But one is rooted in clarity, and the other is rooted in overwhelm. Escape is urgent. It feels like you need to act now or you will break. It pushes you toward a quick conclusion, so the tension stops immediately. Peace is steady. It does not rush you. It does not scream. It allows space. It does not demand a dramatic move to feel calm. Right now, what you are feeling might not be peace calling you to leave. It might be exhaustion pushing you to escape. Exhaustion has a convincing voice. It presents arguments. It reminds you of every effort that did not produce visible results. It lists every moment you felt unseen. It replays every delay as proof that continuing is pointless. When fatigue builds that case long enough, quitting feels justified. But ask yourself this without defensiveness. If you were not this tired, would you still want to walk away? If someone strengthened you, supported you, reminded you why you started, would the desire to quit still be this intense? Sometimes the issue is not the path. It is the way you are carrying it. Carrying something meaningful alone will distort even the clearest calling. Isolation magnifies doubt. Silence amplifies insecurity. And when you are isolated inside, pressure, quitting looks like the only relief available. Peace does not panic. Peace does not rush. Peace does not need to prove anything. If your decision feels urgent, emotionally charged, and heavily influenced by exhaustion, then you are not standing in peace yet. You are standing in fatigue. Before you choose, you must separate the voice of peace from the voice of escape. And to do that, you must look deeper than the situation itself. What is truly hurting right now is not just the situation, it is your identity inside it. You imagined a certain outcome. You pictured growth by now. You expected progress, clarity, maybe even recognition. When reality did not match what you envisioned, something inside you felt exposed, not just disappointed, exposed. There is a version of you that thought this would unfold differently. That version carried confidence. That version believed the effort would pay off sooner. And when time passed without visible breakthrough, doubt did not just question the process, it questioned you. That is why quitting feels deeper than a simple decision. It feels like self-protection. You are not just tired of the challenge. You are tired of feeling like you misjudged yourself. Tired of wondering if you overestimated your capacity. Tired of questioning whether you are enough to carry what you started. But listen carefully. Pressure does not always mean you chose wrong. Sometimes pressure reveals how much you were trying to control outcomes. Sometimes it exposes expectations that were never guaranteed. And when expectations break, it feels like identity is breaking too. You thought strength meant visible progress. You thought confidence meant constant momentum. But real strength is often invisible while it is forming. Real confidence grows in uncertainty, not applause. The pain you feel might not be proof that the path is wrong. It might be proof that the version of you that depended on quick results is being reshaped. That reshaping feels uncomfortable. It feels like loss. It feels like disorientation. But it is not destruction. It is refinement. Before you conclude that everything is wrong, ask yourself whether what is breaking is truly the mission or just your original expectations of how it would look. There is a discipline that protects you from regret. It is simple. It is not dramatic, but it is powerful. Do not quit in emotional storm mode. When your body is tense, when your thoughts are racing, when your heart feels heavy and reactive, you are not in a position to define your future. Stress compresses perspective. It narrows vision. It convinces you that what you feel right now will last forever. But emotions shift. What feels unbearable at midnight often softens by morning. What feels final in exhaustion often looks different after rest. That is why decisions made in emotional peaks tend to create long-term regret. You owe yourself separation between feeling and action. Give it one full day, 24 hours where you refuse to send the message, close the door, or declare the ending. Sleep, breathe, step away from the immediate pressure. Allow your nervous system to settle. This is not avoidance. It is wisdom. Many people mistake urgency for clarity. They think the intensity of the feeling proves the correctness of the decision. But intensity is not evidence. It is a signal that your system is overloaded. When the storm calms, you will see more clearly. You may still choose to leave, but if you do, it will feel grounded. It will feel stable. It will not feel like escape. Before you take a step that cannot be undone, give your mind the chance to reset, because clarity deserves calm. And there is still something else you must consider before you decide. Quitting too early quietly steals something from you, not success, not reputation, something deeper. It steals the version of you that would have emerged if you had stayed just a little longer. Endurance is not glamorous. It is repetitive. It is unseen. It is waking up and trying again when yesterday already drained you. It is choosing consistency when results are delayed. That kind of persistence builds an internal strength that cannot be faked. When you step away in exhaustion, you do not just leave the situation. You interrupt the strengthening process that was happening beneath the surface. You silence the resilience that was forming in tension. You walk away from the discipline that would have reshaped your confidence. You think quitting will remove pressure. It will remove this pressure. But another challenge will rise somewhere else. And if the pattern remains the same, exhaustion will follow you into the next chapter. Growth does not disappear because you change environments. It waits for you in a different form. You are not tired of meaning. You are tired of carrying it without reinforcement. That is different. Imagine looking back months from now, knowing that you stayed through the hardest stretch. Imagine the stability that would build inside you, knowing that you did not abandon yourself when things felt uncertain. That kind of self-trust is powerful. It is built in moments like this. Before you conclude that leaving will protect you, ask yourself whether staying just a little longer might strengthen you more than you realize. If after rest, after reflection, after giving yourself distance from the emotional storm, you still feel a steady conviction to step away, then do it with strength, not because you are overwhelmed, not because you are tired of the pressure, but because your peace confirms it. There is maturity in ending something when it is truly complete. There is wisdom in changing direction when clarity is stable. Not every doctor must remain open forever. Not every season is permanent, but endings made in clarity feel different from endings made in collapse. Collapse is urgent. It says, I cannot take this anymore. Clarity is calm. It says, I understand what this season was for. If you leave from collapse, you may feel temporary relief, but the question will linger. Did I act too quickly? Did I abandon something meaningful because I was exhausted? That doubt can follow you longer than the pressure ever did. But if you leave from clarity, there is steadiness. There is no rush in the decision. There is no emotional panic behind it. There is understanding. You are not being told to endure something harmful. You are not being asked to stay in something destructive. You are being invited to make sure that your decision is rooted in alignment, not depletion. This is about protecting your future from your lowest energy. Right now, the power is not in staying or leaving. The power is in choosing from a place of calm, strength, and now, with everything you have examined, you are standing again at the edge of the decision. Go back to the moment where you almost decided. The message half written. The door not yet closed. The sentence you were ready to say out loud. You were standing there, convinced that ending, it would finally quiet the tension inside you. You thought stopping would bring peace. You thought walking away would give you control again. But now you see more clearly. You understand that exhaustion can imitate wisdom. That urgency can disguise itself as clarity. That fatigue can build convincing arguments that sound mature but are rooted in depletion. You recognize the difference between escape and peace. You are not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You are human, but you are also stronger than the moment that almost made you stop. Strength is not loud. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. Sometimes strength is simply refusing to let your lowest energy decide your highest future. If you continue with steadiness, not out of pressure, not out of fear, but out of alignment. If you adjust intentionally. And if you eventually choose to leave, do it from clarity, not collapse. What matters is this: do not let your most exhausted day define your permanent direction. You almost quit, but instead you paused, and that pause may protect you from regret more than you realize. Tomorrow you will wake up clearer, not because the situation changed overnight, but because you did not allow exhaustion to make a decision for you. Before you quit anything that matters, remember who you are when you are not overwhelmed. Make your decision from that place. That is strength, and that is wisdom.